Wake up YouTube, my name is Juice and welcome back to another episode of our tournament series. So today we are doing a Monotype tournament. I didn't actually mention this in my inheritance video, but basically on every single day of the month, Showdown hosts a metagame tournament that changes from day to day, and they basically cover every metagame in existence, from NUs to OUs to, like as you see here, Monotypes. They even had Super Staff Bros that one day. But anyways, enough of that. Let's actually just dive into this metagame tournament itself. I'm running a hard offense Monotype bug team, and before I actually go any further, just a small disclaimer: I'm actually relatively new to Monotypes. This is actually the first Monotype team I've built. That said, I am definitely not new to Pokemon. If you guys seen our past videos, we've done a lot of really competitive Pokemon, so you know I still know the stats pretty well that my opponents are running. But anyways, just a short overview of my Monotype bug team. I have Monotype Heracross. I have Heracross for that hard offense, Volcarona for that special offense, Genesect for that U-turn bounce, as well as a nice extreme speed. I actually only very recently realized Genesect was not banned from Monotypes, which really made my day. That's why you see that nice shiny Genesect there. I have Fortress for the rocks, Galvantula, also to spin away rocks, Galvantula for the web, and Yanmega. Yeah, Mega actually has a very interesting role. He has Air Slash, which has been surprisingly useful in these past couple of games that I've done. He also has Hidden Power, Ancient Power, I'm sorry, to hit those fire types off guard. And with that speed boost, in case the Sticky Web doesn't come off, the Yanmega can also go for a nice Tailwind. So he's a very good support. Now my opponent's running a Dragon team, which, you know, I see a lot of Dragon teams low on the Monotype ladder, but as they climb a bit higher, they start petering out. And you know, I'm not gonna say dragons are bad, but certainly from Gen 4, Gen 5, they've really fallen. And it's not really necessarily because of fairies. They're just being outclassed right now by other types. So I'm gonna pop right on into this game here. You'll see my opponent leads with that nice Garchomp, which unfortunately has Fire Blast, and he goes for Crunch now. I hit him off card with that nice Hidden Power Ice there, but he lives, unfortunately. So he goes for that Fire Blast, which, lucky for me, misses. I mean, I had a red card anyways in case it did hit, but I was really glad it didn't. I thought he had just a normal fire type move. I was not expecting a special Fire Blast there. But the second one makes contact, burns me, and he gets pulled out by my red card. And as I go for the nice explosion here, since I'm done with my roll, and I get a free switch into Genesect. He goes for Earth Power here as I go for the Iron Head to finish him off. And here he goes back into Garchomp, seeing the Fire Blast. I switched right back out into Hug Me, sacrificing him. I didn't really see Sticky Web doing much work against his team. He had too many Levitate or Flying types for Sticky Web to be effective at all. And I go right back into Genesect to get my nice extreme speed off. So that's dead. Dragonite comes on in, and I don't think I can take him out with extreme speed from that range. So I go ahead and hard switch into Volcarona, predicting the Fire Blast, the Flamethrower, and since I don't really have a move that can really damage him, I had to go for Fury Dance, but that's all I needed. The main purpose of switching in Volcarona was so that I can come back in with Genesect, get that attack boost, which is very pivotal, and so that I can get some late game sweeps with my extreme speed. So that's that. Altaria is actually pretty damn bulky to be able to take this extreme speed so well. It only does 57.9%. And he tries to roost stall me. He goes for the nice Draco, and he misses here. Unfortunately for him, even if that had hit, I would not have died. I impart Steel after all, and even if I had died, I do have a Tailwind Heracross waiting at the back to finish things up. So it would have been game anyways, but he was kind of upset, obviously, that he missed the Draco, and he actually just straight up DQ'd. Didn't even have the decency to forfeit. Okay, YouTube, so for my second battle, I went up against TechnoWiz86. He's running Monotype Fighting. Now, Monotype Fighting is actually pretty nice. It's a very diverse Monotype. Like, look at his team right now. He has Fire, Grass, Water, Psychic, Poison, and Steel. Every single Monotype is of a different secondary type. So that's actually really neat. And TechnoWiz turned out to be a really good player too. So I'm going to hop right on in here. He leads with Flamon, very aggressive lead that get that nice fake out game right off the bat, and breaks my Sash, which was a good play on his part. And anticipating some sort of fire or fighting type attack, I went a not a spinner in order to force him out. but it turns out he went for Rocks, which is a very tactical play on his part, and I went for my own Rocks. Seeing as how he didn't really have any defoggers or spinners, I went up for that Sticky Web as well, thinking that maybe I could get Heracross in for some late game sweeps. So here I go for a nice Protect, get my speed boost, and fire off that Air Slash I was talking to you guys about before. Does a huge amount and finishes off Ribbit in one shot. And he goes ahead and switches into Gallade here. Obviously, Connor the Gallade, obviously going for that Shadow Sneak. There was no one I really wanted to switch into to take that, so I went ahead and just let Mega Yan Mega go down. And I switch into Super Fab here, going for the nice Pin Missile. I guess he expected Connor to survive that Pin Missile, so he didn't go for Shadow Sneak, but unfortunately Connor does not survive. Goes into O'Reilly Lucario. Luckily for me, the rocks are up. That thing was probably sashed, let's be real. And I take him out. And his purpose of doing that was probably just to get the special defense drop on me so that he can come in with an Infernape and get that nice fake out off. But I do predict that and go right into Volcarona and fire off my Hidden Power Ground. Which lucky for me was a crit. Don't know if it would have finished him off if that wasn't a crit, but I did have Genesect for some extreme speed games later on. But he goes into Keldeo here, and that Hydro Pump game hits me nice and solid, and I don't finish him off with Giga Drain. So I had to go back into Super Fab, and at this point, I thought it would just be an easy game, but it turns out his Keldeo still outsped me, even with the -1 speed, and now I'm at my own -1 speed, making this game a lot more difficult than it should have been. But I didn't want Genesect to go to sleep, so I went ahead and stayed in, and that is a really bulky Breloom to be able to survive Pin Missile like that. That's the bulky set, and he goes for that Spore, which really annoys me, that Spore Drain Punch set, and you know, there's nothing I can really do at this point, because if I switch into Genesect, who knows, if Genesect dies to this Drain Punch, I would be in a really bad position. So I go ahead and wake up here, luckily, and I finish him off with Pin Missile. So that was a good close game, Techno-Wiz. Again, I guess he also thought that Keldeo would not outspeed Heracross, so he went for Icy Wind. He should have gone for Hydro Pump. If he knew he outsped. And that's also something that actually caught me off guard a lot more later in the game. I didn't realize that even with the Sticky Web, Heracross can outspeed a lot of the faster Pokemon in this metagame. So in the future, I'm definitely gonna trade off some bulk for some speed on my Heracross. But anyways, that was the second match, and it was a really good match against Techno-Wiz. So for my third match, I go up against Baby New Year with his fearsome Monotype Water team. This turned out to be a really close match. Now, you know, how Monotype generally works is he gets that Drizzle game on, and this is actually a hard offense Monotype team. He has that Swampert, the Kabutops. He also has, well, this actually might be moderate too, because he does have that nice bulk with Rotom Watch. I'm actually not too familiar with Monotypes, I shouldn't be ranting too much about them. But obviously Starmie serves as his spinner. So let's actually just hop on into the battle here. I lead with Hug Me. I want to get off some Sticky Web game, even though I was certain that that actually wouldn't make too big of a difference once he gets his Drizzle off. But he actually just goes into Swampert here. And I didn't have Giga Drain, which was a shame. And you know, he went for Protect anyways, so that was okay. And I went for the nice Volt Switch here, predicting him to switch. Even if he had attacked, he would have been red carded, and Volt Switch still would have been effective. But I go into Galvantula here, and that obviously he can't stay in on. Hit that Rotom Wash nice and solid here, and go for the nice T-Bolt. I guess he maybe expected me to switch. He went for Will-O-Wisp. There was no reason at this point for me to switch, and I go for Bug Buzz in case he decided to switch back into Swampert. So now he goes into Kabutops. Obviously, he wants to Aqua Jet me. Kabutops has a lot of power here. I didn't want to stay in. And I go ahead and force him out with not a spinner, who in fact is a spinner. But he goes into Swampert here. A very, very nice play that actually forces something of mine to die. And I actually misplay here a lot with that explosion. I didn't realize just how offensive his team was. And I actually ended up really needing Fortress late game. So that was a mistake. I should have just sacrificed Galvantula or something. Or like, you know, maybe Genesect, whatever I didn't need. I should have sacrificed that to a Waterfall rather than sacrifice Fortress. But alas, I went for Explosion and I got some moderate damage off on Swampert. So he goes ahead and switches out into Manaphy. And my Protect fails, obviously, and I get that boosted speed, so I can go for the air slash, and as I think he goes for, oh, he flinches. I get that nice 30% chance flinch, and I go for another air slash as he goes for Scald, which almost kills me. If that was done under the rain, I would have died, so that flinch was definitely good. I wouldn't call that hacks though, because 30% is a pretty large probability. So I go into Fab here as he goes into Politoed, and you know, I finished Politoed off with that nice Bullet Seed game. And, you know, there's nothing to that, but unfortunately he does have a Rain Up now, and the 2 remaining beasts of his team need that rain. By the way, that Bullet Seed right there, how Politoed was left with like less than 1% HP, that was so pivotal. That I would call that hacks, because I got a really low roll on my last one. Before, for all of my rounds, I was doing 19 to 20%, or like 19 to 21%, and for that last one, I did 18%. So that was just a low roll. You know, and had I killed Politoed, or had I killed Politoed right away, I would not have taken that that damage right there. I'm lucky it didn't burn, but I really would have liked to have more HP for this oncoming offense right here from his water team. So he goes for that nice waterfall game, finishing off Hug Me. The other thing I could have done about that, and I make a mistake here. I forgot that Kabutops had Swift Swim, which doubles his speed. So I actually went for, I think, U-turn or something. I don't remember what I went for. I should have just gone for extreme speed. That definitely would have killed. It was resisted by rock, but at least I would have got some damage off. Misplay. Not that it really mattered, to be honest, but anyways, my goal right here is just to stall out that rain. And so I go into Volcarona here. Again, that nice waterfall game finishes me off cleanly, and so here I anticipate that I can just go ahead and outspeed and finish off the rest of his team. Unfortunately, Heracross's low speed bit me in the ass again. I did not expect Starmie to outspeed me at all, and unfortunately that just cost me the game. So yeah, Starmie dies. You know, the Reflect doesn't do anything. There's no way Swampert was surviving that Bullet Seed, but with that paralysis, he does now outspeed me with the waterfall. So he won right at the end there with the clutch. I really miscalculated Starmie's speed, did not expect him to be that fast. So yeah, in the future, I'm definitely gonna run a more speedy Heracross, maybe. You know, if that Scald hadn't hit me, I think I would have survived the waterfall. Heracross is really bulky. But unfortunately, that's just that. That's game. It was a really good game. I was actually debating right at the end there between Heracross and Volcarona, whether I should save Heracross or Volcarona, but I reasoned that I wouldn't be able to take out Starmie with 1 Giga Drain. That was not happening. So that's why I went with Heracross, and unfortunately Heracross couldn't pull it off at the end. If I had a Fortress, I definitely would have been in a much better position. I could have probably gotten an explosion off on whatever he had, which was, I think, Kabutops or something. So that was a pretty close game. Yeah, Baby New Year, excellent match. That was where I lost in the tournament, unfortunately. Monotype is actually a really fun tier. I'll definitely look a lot more into it. Maybe in the future I'll give some analysis videos on specific types. Yeah, so if you guys have any requests on what type you want me to analyze, I can definitely do a lot of research on that. That's fine, or I can definitely play around with that on Showdown and record an episode. It's all your demand. So yeah, if you guys have any requests, any suggestions, leave them down in the comment section down below. And that said, remember that if you like this video, to like, comment, and subscribe. We do have a Pokeflute Twitter now at PokefluteYT, so make sure you follow that. And yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.